In every era, across mountains and seas, through ancient empires and modern civilizations, the story of womanhood has been the soul of humanity. Her tenderness has softened kings, her wisdom has guided prophets, and her endurance has outlived empires. From the quiet homes of forgotten villages to the glittering skylines of global cities, the essence of a woman's integrity transcends every border. She may be born into different languages, cultures, and beliefs, but her moral compass, that sacred flame of truth, faith, and compassion, remains constant. Integrity is the crown jewel of a woman's soul. It is what makes her noble, even when she is unseen, and what gives her power, even when she is unheard. It is not a possession to display, but a force that shapes her character from within. In an age where appearances are often mistaken for worth, integrity stands as a silent guardian of her true dignity. The world may try to define her by standards of wealth, freedom, or beauty, but integrity defines her by her faith, her conscience, and her actions. The woman of integrity walks through a world that often misunderstands her. She lives among cultures that praise independence but forget interdependence, that glorify beauty but neglect purity, that celebrate expression but forget reflection. Yet she remains steadfast because her compass points not toward worldly applause but divine approval. Her faith teaches her that her body is sacred, her words are powerful, and her purpose is divine. She knows that integrity means living truthfully even when no one is watching, and holding on to her values even when the tide of the world turns against her. Across continents, women live within systems where their voices are silenced, their talents overlooked, and their moral strength dismissed. But integrity is not diminished by oppression. It is refined by it. In the face of injustice, a woman's integrity becomes her armor. It is her quiet protest, her unshakable faith, and her unbreakable dignity. She learns that her worth is not given by men, governments, or societies, but by the Creator who shaped her soul with purpose and love. The Holy Bible reminds us that virtue is the strength of a woman, that her beauty is not in outward adornment, but in the incorruptible spirit of gentleness and grace. This divine truth still speaks across borders. A woman who fears God, who lives with moral clarity and compassion, is a blessing to her people. Whether she walks through the bustling markets of Cairo or the serene valleys of Switzerland, her dignity is not determined by her surroundings, but by the purity of her heart and the sincerity of her faith. The beauty of a male-dominated society is only because of the entity of women in every country and culture. Without her, civilization loses its warmth, its compassion, and its continuity. The man may build walls, but it is the woman who builds homes. The man may write laws, but it is the woman who nurtures conscience. The man may fight wars, but it is the woman who teaches peace. Her integrity anchors the moral life of every nation, shaping generations in silence, reminding humanity that greatness is not in dominance but in devotion. To understand the dignity of women, we must also understand the subtle oppression of moral confusion. In many parts of the world, the identity of women is being redefined, not through divine wisdom, but through social trends. The modern world tells her to abandon modesty, to discard humility, to replace grace with power and tenderness with ambition. Yet true power lies not in rebellion, but in righteousness. A woman's strength shines most when she walks in faith, when she guards her heart and body from corruption, when she chooses virtue over vanity. Integrity is not rigidity. It does not confine a woman. It frees her. It allows her to live without fear of judgment, because she knows her worth is not measured by comparison. She is content in her purpose and courageous in her convictions. When she raises her children with love, when she speaks truth in gentleness, when she endures hardship with patience, she becomes a living example of divine grace. She becomes the moral pulse of society. A woman of integrity is not perfect. She is purposeful. She may stumble, she may be tested, but she does not surrender to moral decay. Her faith revives her, her conscience corrects her, and her humility strengthens her. In her eyes shines a quiet light, the reflection of a heart that seeks God's pleasure above all. She teaches her daughters that integrity is beauty, that purity is strength, and that true liberation is found in servitude to the Almighty. Her presence sanctifies her surroundings. When a woman of integrity enters a room, the air changes, not through force, but through peace. She brings calm where there is chaos, order where there is confusion, compassion where there is cruelty. Her words heal, her prayers protect, and her patience builds bridges. In a world obsessed with noise and performance, she stands as a symbol of calm truth. Her dignity does not shout. It simply endures. From the times of the ancient prophets to the present day, women of faith have shaped humanity's moral fabric. Sarah's faith, Mary's purity, and Ruth's loyalty still echo as timeless lessons for generations. Their lives were not about power or status. They were about obedience, sacrifice, and divine love. Their integrity crossed borders and eras, reminding us that virtue is eternal, while the fashions of the world are fleeting. In today's global society, where information travels faster than reflection, integrity is a rare treasure. It is easy to speak of virtue, but harder to live it. The woman of integrity stands firm against digital temptation, against the vanity of validation, against the erosion of family values. She chooses not to be an image for consumption, but a light for inspiration. Her social media may be silent, but her influence echoes through generations. Every mother, teacher, nurse, daughter, and believer carries a sacred duty to preserve this integrity in her own circle. When she guides her family with faith, when she guards her modesty, when she prays for peace in her heart, she fulfills a divine mission. She becomes not just a woman, but a guardian of culture, a pillar of morality, a reflection of divine mercy. The true civilization of mankind is not measured by technology, luxury, or politics. It is measured by the integrity of its women. When women live by faith, nations prosper in peace. When women lose their moral compass, societies drift into confusion. Therefore, preserving the integrity of women is not merely a cultural need. It is a spiritual duty. It is the foundation upon which every just, compassionate, and faithful civilization must stand. Let every woman remember that her integrity is a form of worship. Her honesty, her humility, her patience, her care, all are acts of devotion that please the Creator. Her heart becomes a sanctuary, her home a fortress of purity, and her life a testimony of faith. Though the world may change, her truth remains unchanged. Though the noise grows louder, her peace deepens. She is the living expression of divine wisdom, timeless, pure, and powerful. Integrity beyond borders is the melody of a woman's soul, sung through her choices, her actions, and her prayers. She is the same in spirit, whether she lives in the East or the West, in a village or a city, in wealth or in want. Her conscience is her compass, and her Creator is her guide. In her lies the hope of the world, the moral rebirth of nations, and the restoration of divine order. The story of womanhood, therefore, is not a story of weakness, but of sacred strength. It is the story of how faith sustains her through adversity, how purity guards her against corruption, and how love elevates her above hatred. In a male-dominated world, her presence is not secondary. It is central. She is the mother of all creation's renewal, the nurturer of civilization, the heart that keeps humanity alive. So let every society honor her, not through empty praises or slogans, but through restoring her dignity and respecting her integrity. Let the world remember that progress without purity is destruction, and equality without faith is chaos. The integrity of women is not just a moral ideal. It is humanity's shield against its own arrogance. May every listener, every viewer, every heart that hears this message reflect deeply on one truth. The strength of a nation lies not in its might, but in the integrity of its women. For as long as women remain faithful, sincere, and steadfast, hope shall never perish. The moral compass of the world will always find its way back to light, guided by the radiant, enduring, and unyielding integrity of women beyond borders.